tuna casserole. Oh my God, that was the worst. What do they call those noodles that she put in? My mother used to put these. Oh, were they Chinese noodles? Asian noodles? What do you call them? Chinese. I'm afraid to do this now. Noodles. Is that what they are? Yeah, those little, the little hard things. That's what she said. I don't know what they were. They looked like they were toasted, and she would put those in there, and my older brother told me that they were worms. And it was like heated up tuna, which I already fucking can't stand. And then he told me there was worms in them, and oh my God. I can't remember how long I sat there. Did you guys have a mom like mine? Or whatever she made, you're going to sit there until you finish that. She had a sandwich spread, which were really big back in the day. Sandwich spreads. And when I tell you this, this sandwich spread looked like vomit. I mean, it was just like, let me see. A sandwich spread, that's fucking showing me mayonnaise here. Let me see if I can find this thing. Vintage sandwich spread recipe. See, oh my God, what part of the internet am I on now? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh God, I almost fucking gagged looking at it. Oh my God. Oh, it didn't taste bad. It just looked. It was like, I guess this has ground up bologna and mayonnaise, and then you could just, zhuzh it up however you wanted to. So my mother would make this shit. And it was funny. She knew we didn't like it, but we had so many kids that it was just like, I don't have fucking time. The menu is what it is. When you move out someday, you can eat whatever you want to eat. But as long as you're in this house. That shit, right? So she would be making it. She had like a meat grinder, and she'd be fucking grinding up the fucking hand fucking thing, just grinding this shit up. And we would just see it like, Mom, are you making sandwich? You making that sandwich? Mom, it looks like throw up. It does not. She just would make it. And then she'd put it on white bread, and we would just sit there. And then she'd be eating. Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. And we would just be sitting there. Mom, I don't want to eat it. You straighten up. Sit up straight in your seat. You're going to eat that. And we would just sit there and sit there and sit there. And in a way, I think she did it on purpose, because then she had all of her kids she knew where we were, and we were just sitting there, and then she could go off, clean the house, or pay some bills, whatever the fuck she had to do. And we would just be sitting there in lockdown, staring at these fucking sandwiches that looked like somebody took some cold puke and put it between two slices of Wonder Bread, just fucking sitting there. So I remember sitting there so long at one point, the bread was starting to get stale, and I'm not exaggerating. It was like a couple of hours. My ass was falling asleep on the fucking wooden chair. And then one of my younger brothers got up, and he had half a fucking sandwich left. And I had just finished mine, and then he took his, and he dropped it behind the stereo. My dad had this big, like, back, hi-fi system, so there was like, all the records were on the bottom, and then the stereo was on top, and then there was a thing that came up behind it. It had a back on it, and up there was the speakers. He dropped it behind there, and oh my God, it was one of the best laughs of that year of my childhood. I don't know what about it struck me as so funny. There was something about the fact that I ate mine and he didn't, and that he had the balls to do it, but was also like young and dumb enough to not realize that he was going to get caught. The whole fucking thing was just so goddamn funny that we were all just sitting there crying, laughing. And then my mother comes in, and all the sandwiches were gone, and we had these shit-eating grins on our faces. We were all laughing. She's like, you ate them all up? We were like, yeah, we ate them. And she knew we were full of shit, but she was fucking busy. So I don't know how long it took for that fucking thing to start smelling or what the fuck happened. The funny thing is we all forgot about it. So when she was saying, what is that smell? Do you guys smell that? There's a smell in here. we were just like, yeah, I don't know what that is. You know, was there an Easter egg somebody didn't find? We had no fucking idea what it was. And then she finally fucking found the thing. Oh my God. It was so funny. It was fucking hilarious. And then he got busted and got paddled. You know, my dad was in a fraternity and he kept the paddle. So my mother used to fucking hit us with that. Back when you could do shit like that. I remember one time she was driving home. She said two of my younger brothers, she said, if you two don't knock it off, I'm pulling over the side of the road. I'm going to spank your bare asses right on the side of the street. And she was so mellow. You know, she wasn't the volatile one. She was mellow. So we just kept testing her, and my younger brothers did. And she fucking pulled over, and she did it. And the funny thing is, she did it on the driver's side, too. It was, what the fuck was it? I forget what that thing was. All I remember was she was doing it, and I was like, oh, my God. And I was laughing my ass off. My brothers were crying, and people were driving by laughing. Beep, 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 like beeping horns. They thought it was the funniest fucking thing ever. Now, somebody would videotape that, and they would have taken her kids away, you know? And my mother was a fucking great mother, and we deserve... when I look back, I fucking deserved every goddamn time. Every fucking time she was right. And it's funny, I have absolutely no anger or issues about getting fucking hit with that fucking paddle. Zero. And all I do is just laugh about the shit that I did. Sprayed a garden hose through the fucking screen window at my brother one time, but fucking soaked the kitchen. He pissed me off. I remember he threw dishwater at me because we had to do the dishes every other night. We had a night, right? That was our chore or whatever. And I was giving him shit because it was his night to do dishes, right? So I was running my yap. So he took a handful of hot soapy water and just slapped me off the back of my head and neck as hard as he fucking could, to the point, I saw like stars. And then I turned around so mad, and he's looking at me like, what? I'm your older brother. What the fuck are you going to do? So I showed him. I went outside. Right out the side door. And what was hilarious is right as he figured out what I was going to do, I had turned the water on, and I just missed him. And then I was so mad I wasn't thinking about the ramifications of my act. And it all went through the fucking window, and I immediately brought it down, and I shut off the water and ran around to the other side of the house. And all I was thinking was like, wow, that was a lot of water. My mother's probably going in there right now trying to figure out what's going to happen, and then, the inevitable happened. Inevitable happened. Get in here. The best thing was you got the beating first, and then you had to clean up. So then you were doing that fucking cry as you're sitting there with the paper towels as they're giving you shit for using too many paper towels. You can clean all of that up. Look at that wall. Yeah. It was a fucking hilarious time.